Definitely, man. Andy, do you have any other questions to that point? His football journey?
Yeah, I was just like, far as having the coaching, was it more like help having a parent away from home? Like, sometimes when we're out there and you're going through a situation, the toughness of playing or whatever, and you have that outlet there, as far as you could reach out to him in having a good type of relationship where you could with trust and things like that when anything was going on outside of football.
Yeah. So I would say, I could say you could call it spoiled, right, or blessed, right, lucky, in that
blessed, I would say.
Blessed, right? But having that, so they would have been there, and a lot of players that I saw relied on these coaches, right? They were an amazing support group for a lot of people. I never really needed it. My parents were amazing. Parents always there. Kept me out of trouble, made sure I didn't do things I wasn't supposed to do to, really need to go and rely on a coach. I mean, again, I said, I was spoiled, right? Because then it did. Because then later in life, when maybe I should have taken advantage of some, mentorship or some outside influence, of an older spirit, right? I just didn't naturally do that, right? Because I naturally felt content growing up. I didn't feel I needed to reach out to somebody. So yeah, I mean, it maybe like we were talking earlier about special teams and knowing the importance of special teams, right? Had I been in the habit at that point of reaching out to going to talk to some of the older guys or seeking guidance, right? I'm sure somebody would have let me know, hey, make sure you're doing this, make sure you're not doing that. But I kind of, felt like I was good. I knew what I was doing. And then it wasn't until some of the lessons I learned after that to really say, okay, you don't know everything. You should find out what people say. You should see, who can help you out. So yeah, no, the coaches were amazing, but outside of on the field and then making sure that I was doing what I was supposed to do and getting me ready for the games, I was fortunate enough not to need that extra support.
Definitely, man. So, Mr. Sims, that transition to the college game, how was that transition for you and the recruiting process?
Yeah. Okay. So at Colerain High School, we ran a triple option. And I kind of touched on it as far as having a unique high school career. So I started as a sophomore, transferred to Colerain High School, and then was the backup quarterback. Now, you always deal with politics. I don't think anybody from that time frame would say, yes, you were the second best quarterback and not the first best quarterback. But as a team player, right, new to the culture, they had a great team, so I wasn't, planning on displacing anybody. So I backed up that sophomore. I backed up another kid in my class. Then my senior year, I switched to, because that quarterback was now a senior. We're in the same class, so he was a starting quarterback. They got me on the field to play running back, slot receiver, just kind of making sure that I was out there as well. And throughout that time, I had not crazy statistics, but I would touch the ball. I was like 50%, almost. Like I touched the ball 4 times, have 1 or 2 touchdowns. I touched the ball 6 times, have 1 or 2, 3 touchdowns maybe. So really analyzing it, I was playing very well. But just looking at a stat sheet, it's potentially easy to overlook me. So during my senior year, while that was going on, I was recruited mainly by MAC schools. Western Michigan, Buffalo were my first couple offers. And at Colerain, a lot of guys were getting offers and then starting to commit. So I did feel a little sense of urgency, visited Western Michigan, visited Buffalo, decided to commit to Buffalo before the end of the season. Then come playoff time, my senior year, the starting quarterback injured himself and wasn't able to play. So I took over as a quarterback and just blew up, right? Had 200 plus yards, 4 touchdowns. We made it to the game before the semifinals, lost to the eventual state championships, which that team had like 6 guys ended up. Luke Kuechly was on the team. They had like 6 guys ended up going to the NFL. Great team. Still could have beat them. Yeah. But so having those 3 games at quarterback where I really got to touch the ball every play and got 10, 12 carries, some more interest came. And the last week of recruiting trips, so I got an offer from Indiana, Virginia, and Georgia Tech all at the same time, just because they were in the area scouting other guys. Like, oh, okay, who's this kid? Get them an offer. We have something extra. And I had to pick essentially without visiting, because I only could visit one place. And I chose Georgia Tech. It was in Atlanta. They were running the triple option. That's Paul Johnson had just got there. So in my mind, I'm like, I can go play quarterback in the ACC, be in Atlanta, Georgia. And that's really why I went there. They told me I could play quarterback or at least try. But when I got there, they said, okay, you're playing receiver. We like our quarterbacks. You play receiver. So, it was a different transition. Again, I played a little bit in high school, but not, it was in the triple option first off. So you don't really develop too many receiver skills. And then transitioning to college, again, it was a triple option. I was playing receiver for the first time. I was having some success. Demaryius Thomas was there at the time. And so, I'm competing with guys and it's fun, but it was just difficult being at Georgia Tech, knowing that I was better than the quarterback. Now, maybe Josh Nesbitt, if he sees this, he won an ACC championship, was a great athlete. He probably would disagree, but the truth is I would have been the best quarterback. He could have it his, first year and let me get, but so I struggled there in college just to be happy with what I was doing. And it actually turned out when I started playing after my redshirt year, I'd be on special teams, play a little receiver, but you got Demaryius Thomas on the team. No need to throw the ball to anybody else.
Right.
And, we had a quarterback get hurt, right? The backup quarterback got hurt. So they'd move me over to be the emergency backup quarterback, like third string, right? If Nesbitt goes down and then our next quarterback doesn't do well, right? We have Quentin. He knows how to do the triple option. So, the 3 years at Georgia Tech, I didn't really feel like I was getting like a full college experience, like football playing experience, because I was conflicted all the time, trying to get on the field, not comfortable, wanting to play quarterback. So, it wasn't a crazy transition. We won an AC championship. That was awesome experience. And eventually after my redshirt sophomore year, I transferred to Tennessee Martin because I realized finally at the age of like 21 or 20 or something, like, oh, you're not going to be an NFL quarterback, but you could be an NFL receiver. So let's get out of the triple option. Let's go somewhere where you can learn how to play the position. And that's what I did. And then college football was a great experience for my last 2 years, actually being on the field a substantial amount and contributing to the team's victory and developing my own skills.